So I've decided that I want to learn how to do a handstand. So I'm gonna do that today. During quarantine, as many of you I assume have probably been doing, I've been thinking a lot, about the future and about what everything might look like, from the most basic things like grocery shopping and greeting one another. Will we still hug and shake hands? Okay, look, even in like European countries where people kiss each other on the cheek or something, is that gonna go away like it did after the Spanish influenza and eventually reintegrate itself as a cultural norm? Or will it not go away or not reintegrate itself at all? I don't know. Clearly no one does, but it's interesting to think about, even if it does make my head hurt quite a bit. Even other things like music. Music is so defining of different time periods and generations. Hey, let's jump off. Nope, okay. And what does this one look like? And what like the music that's produced coming out of this time period? What is that? How, in what form, what emotions are gonna be most prevalent in it? What is it gonna look like? King Princess did in a Tiny Desk concert on YouTube, said something that really struck with me. Something about how artists now had to find their childhood imagination and creativity once again. Something that they hadn't had to do or been able to do for such a long time, but now, being trapped in their rooms for hours on end with nothing else to do, they had to find that joy and that ability to just sit there and make music for so long. And I think that really applies to all of us, whether we're an artist or a musician or just sitting there letting ourselves be bored, and because there's so much value in it and being able to do so much cool stuff. But also, even if we're not, it's okay. It's so hard to have to readjust to the idea that just doing the minimum is, oh my gosh, is okay. I can congratulate myself for doing even the most basic things, which normally would be so odd to me, but is almost sort of refreshing in a way. One thing that I've also been wondering is how and if women's roles and the way that they're perceived might change at all after this. It's been so interesting seeing popular celebrities going out looking human, and not only celebrities, but so many people have really had to expose a part of themselves that they hadn't before, and that maybe makes them more normal. And with children and families at home, and a lot of mothers especially, though some fathers as well, struggling to take care of their children as well as do all of their work, and with cosmetic surgeries that have been canceled or postponed due to this current pandemic that haven't been able to happen, a lot of people haven't been able to have those and are maybe looking at their bodies in a new way. Even just on social media, I've seen so many different memes and stuff about by men just saying how, oh wow, look, you know, recognizing that women are getting up and doing their makeup and getting dressed on fancy, and they're not leaving their home. And I wonder if this is gonna spark, finally, hopefully, the realization that at least some people that these women maybe aren't necessarily dressing for their pleasure, but rather for themselves, since they're really the only ones who are able to appreciate it right now, for the most part, since they're alone at home. I wonder if our society will recognize the burden that parents and mothers in particularly have that are trying to work and take care of their children, especially, and trying to school them at the same time. Will we finally put an added importance on the roles of teachers and educators and grocery store workers and farmers and all these people in our society, and appreciate their roles as part of this system that are integral to it, because it wouldn't work without them, and since they're the ones keeping us afloat right now. So many countries right now already are doing their own wonderful initiatives. Pakistan, for example, is letting, is having their people who are currently unemployed plant trees in order to help with their goal of planting a bunch of trees to help the environment, as well as paying them a very minimum basic wage so that they can continue to buy food for their families and keep the economy barely afloat, but still afloat. Germany, coming out of this, is going to give extra money to companies that are releasing less CO2 and that are helping the environment, as well as helping the economy. New York and Paris are expanding miles of their streets and shutting them down to make them available for bikers and pedestrians in order to encourage that for more people. So many countries are taking those amazing strides and doing such unique, original things. I hope our country will at least come up with a few ideas and execute them, even if our national administration isn't going to be the ones to come up with that or enforce it, I'd presume. But we can, you know? What are we doing? Anyways, stuff. I've been thinking about stuff. Lots of stuff. Hello, little spider. How are you today? Oh no, I think it's dead. Oh, I'm sorry.